Hello, hello. We're live. We're doing it. We got some folks in the chat already. Let's see. LM, happy birthday. It's my mom's birthday today, too. Happy birthday to your mom. Shout out to your mom. Manu DeVrom, Packet Manu. Reed, we got Reed in the chat. Tuna Head. Happy birthday, and thank you for your dungeon. Your videos help me keep up making my dungeon game. I mean, your dungeon crawler content. That is awesome. That is like everything I love to hear. I love that. That's the whole reason I started this stuff. That's why I want to keep making stuff, keep making videos. So that is awesome to hear. Scott, birthday stream. Evie Weevy Davy, birthday stream. Glad to see you both on a date night watching me. Oh, wow. I'm honored that you decided to spend your date night watching me. How do we sound? How's it sound? How are levels? How's music? Is music too loud? On my single night watching you. Hey, yeah, cool. Sorry. Cool. Got a work meeting soon. Won't be sticking around, but it all sounds and looks good. Awesome. Good to hear. Thank you. Enjoy crawling through the dreaded PAX West. PAX West was really weird this year, I'll be honest. It was an incredibly busy one for me. Not necessarily because of the games I saw, but for other reasons. Both good and bad. Like, I got to see friends and folks and stuff, so that was pretty cool. We'll be looking at at least a couple games that I really want to tell you all about. But yeah, for now we're just going to chat a little bit. See how y'all are doing. Just perusing my shelves. Anything catch your eye? Should I pull anything off the shelf? Talk about it a little bit? This channel is such an encapsulation of the spirit of the best of what YouTube can be. Super in-depth, high-quality content on such a niche topic that legacy media wouldn't dare touch. Yes. Thank you. I really appreciate you saying that. Aside from like trying to help inspire others and myself to keep making, dungeon crawlers or whatever you want to make, really. That's awesome. And another reason I started it was because, I do have a career in legacy media, and the ability to talk about the stuff that I actually play, I actually want to share with people. There's really not that much of an opportunity to do that these days. So yeah, totally your target audience. That is awesome. I'm actually surprised to see that there's 15 folks watching. I mean, honestly, I was totally mentally and emotionally preparing myself for just talking to the void. But I'm really stoked that you're all here. I really, really appreciate it. It's awesome. A show and tell. We can do a quick show and tell. Let me see. Here's my big old Diablos figure from Monster Hunter. I have the whole, not the whole set. There's the Monster Hunter board game, and they're really big. And I broke one of them because they fell off my shelf, which I'm very disappointed about. But I would love to paint them. But I have there's the base set, which is set in the ancient forest, and then there's the Wildspire Wastes, which has Diablos and the Kulu-Yaku and some others. Or actually, no, I think that one, Kulu's actually his own expansion set or whatever. I haven't played it yet. I've broken it out. I really want to give it a shot. There's solo rules and stuff, but it's such a big game to get set up that it's a former Lizardman player. What can you... Oh, on Warhammer, painting reptiles is rough. Yeah. I don't know if you can see it. I'm a kill team player for Warhammer 40k. let's see. Right now I got that new set for the new edition that has the Ultramarines and the Plague Marines because I'm a Nurgle head. And then I also I just got the Night Lords not that long ago. Still got to put them together. And then I have some Pathfinders, Tau Pathfinders. So I got like 4 squads, which is nice with the new solo rules because I don't really know anyone around here who plays. There's a couple shops that I might go into, but like just haven't found the time. All right, I got to catch up on chat. Wow, okay. Sup, man? Took some time away from so long. Happy birthday. Be impressed. Okay, Wataniac is here. So good to see you at PAX, my friend. Always a pleasure. I hope you had a good show. Monsters Yell was deadly. Yeah, Diablos. Yeah, earplugs. You need those earplugs. Timothy Vincent. Happy birthday, Brendan. Now, I don't know this for certain, but if you're the Timothy Vincent that I knew back in like 5th, 6th grade, it's really good to see you, man. If not, still really good to see you. But just in case. Addie Hamilton, happy birthday, Dungeon Master. Thank you very much, Addie. Would you define Monster Hunter, especially Try, as a dungeon crawler? Well, it's interesting you bring up Try, because I do think that like the system with the torch, right? That's one of my favorite parts of Monster Hunter Try, and I wish they would bring something like that back. The series keeps pushing away from like these really like systems heavy, almost immersive sim kind of thing, and really pushing just towards the character action stuff, which has its positives and negatives. But I Try is one of my favorites, and specifically for that. I still wouldn't necessarily count it as a dungeon crawler per se, but there are things that dungeon crawler fans could like about that. How about that? Okay, for sure. Awesome. Great. I see Jeff every so often, so it's really good to see you around. Is this stream where we come to watch you age and decay in real time? Sup, Murph? Good to see you. The answer to that question is yes, I guess. Let's see. I always thought mini painting was some sort of black magic until someone taught me a good simple shading and its impact. Right? Yeah. I mean, if you do like a really solid base coat, and you could do like some really, what is it they call it, the slap shot, the with the dry brushing and that sort of thing. You can get some table ready stuff with very, very quickly using that. I have aspirations to do gunmetal style, which I don't know. That would be a lot of time, a lot of like very meticulous highlight, panel edging and that sort of thing. So maybe one day, but there we go. It's a hot dog then. It might be a hot dog. It might be. It might be a hot dog. That's a good point. I think it certainly could serve as an entry point to like, hey, if you like the friction, especially of like the first 2.5 gens, like we go Monster Hunter on 1 dose and then Try before Portable 3rd and 3 Ultimate. If we do like those games, I think you could be like, hey, if you like those, you certainly might like, the Dark Souls stuff. And then from there, you could be like, oh, maybe Kingsfield, maybe Wizardry, etc. Be careful, Tim. Tim might be after my money now that I'm famous. I doubt it, because I'm not famous and I've got no money. Let's see. Robert, happy birthday, buddy. Love seeing all the stuff you're doing with this channel. Thanks, bud. It's always good to hear from you, man. Dry brush is the easy, efficient way. It doesn't get you to win any painting tournament, but your army looks good from a glance. That is absolutely true, Hydra. Absolutely true. And I think like with these bigger Monster Hunter models, a lot of it is almost easier in some ways, because it's a lot of surface area to paint, but because the details are so large, you can pull out those highlights really well, or the shadows or whatever other details, and you can get a really convincing, like at a glance look with those two. So being YouTube famous is overrated. I like scaring the maidens. I'm not even YouTube famous. There's plenty of folks out there who are far, far more YouTube. There's probably folks that are watching this that are far more YouTube famous than I am. So we just got the Crawl Community, you know, this niche little group, which I love, very appreciative about. I probably say it a million times during the stream, but I really appreciate y'all being here, especially on my birthday, on my day off, just chilling. It's really fun, really cool. That's what I meant. The niche is what makes fun. Oh, okay. Yes. Yeah, I mean, like, even if I was, let's say if I did somehow, if everyone in the world decided that dungeon crawlers were the best, then all of a sudden it was like I had like hundreds of thousands or a million viewers. I don't know. I think it would lose something. Not that I would not want to do that. Like, on some level, I think everyone who does this has, like, on the back of their head at least a little bit of that, some more than others. But I'm happy with where it is right now. Of course, it'd be cool if there was more, right? This is always cool. Spend more time doing stuff you're passionate about. But, yeah. Oh, Treaky's here! Treaky! Oh, what's up, dude? Folks who are famous are watching, then you're famous. Dude, you're famous. To me, in my mind, you're the more famous one. Cold Ember, dungeon crawlers are the best, though. That is true. Also, hello, Cold Ember. Good to see you. The prestigious Dungeon Crawler Connoisseur Club. Yes, I mean, that is true. Definitely the Connoisseur Club. But I also think that there's a lot of, like, we got a lot of, like, Dungeon Crawler Curious, or, you know, like newer fans around, which I appreciate too. I feel like, you know, a lot of those games, since they're older and were even niche at the time they came out, you don't get a lot of new players. So I think it's cool that we get, like, a lot of new folks, like, jumping in, like, the Discord or just in the comments and videos being like, hey, I'm new to this. What should I try first? So you can be the Maximilian dude of dungeon crawlers. Hey, now that's an idea. I think we've got a new goal. Wataniac, you've changed my mind. That is definitely an idea. Tierney, good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Dunjo Flexible. Yeah. We're Dunjo Flexible. We're a Dunjo Flexible community. And, you know, we welcome all types, all people. Which dungeon crawler has the best aging mechanics? Is it wrong to just say, I mean, wizardry, right? I think Sorcerian. Actually, I'm going to go with Sorcerian because, like, in wizardry and some of the other games of that, like Elman Age and stuff, where it's like, hey, aging is kind of almost a negative. In Sorcerian, it's kind of inevitable, and it forces you to constantly recycle your party members. And I think it just adds, like, a fun little, like, emergent storyline of, like, hey, we had this old wizard with us for a while, and then he just kind of got old, passed away, and now we have a new apprentice wizard or something like that. Do you know what I mean? Or just retiring people because, you know, as some characters age, their stats, it affects their stats. So maybe they're not quite as effective for what you want to do on a quest or whatnot. You know, that's interesting. I mean, it's kind of like, not everyone wants to think about that, but it's an interesting gameplay mechanic that I really appreciate. Grow the hair out, get fucking ripped. Okay, look over. Okay, bye, Reed. Well, I'm working on the getting ripped. I'm getting there. We're getting there. But the grow the hair out. I don't know. I think I like where my hair is now. You know, I think because I have very not like thin hair, but like fine hair, you know? It's not the individual strands are not very thick, and then it's very curly. So when it grows out, it like weighs it down, and it doesn't have like as much of the like curl in the body, which I like. So my hair's getting a little. I took the dog on a walk beforehand, so it like dried weird and got kind of poofy. But yeah, I kind of like where my hair is now. But I did like having long hair for a long time. It used to be like down past my rib cage, like say here. That was in like senior year of high school to like my first year of like community college or whatever. I was homeless at the time, so I just didn't cut my hair. But yeah. Okay. Well, backing up. I missed some chat. Hold on. Okay, I've been working on a dungeon crawler video since January. Been collecting some indie examples on the sly. Well, now I have to know what you've been playing. I know one game you've been playing, and I'm deeply curious to know how you've been feeling about that. It's an Xbox game. So if you've made progress in that, I definitely would like to know. You don't have to talk about it here, but maybe we can talk about it in DMs or something. Wizardry 1 for randomly losing stats on level. I feel like they were always trying to go with that as an aging idea. They might have been. I think maybe I'm misremembering. Maybe I'm just thinking of Element Age. As maybe maybe it did. I'd have to go back and check. There's so many. I played so many of these games in the last, especially in the last few years with the channel and everything. But the losing stats thing is weird because, like, there's like some OSR games out there and like older stuff where like you're rolling on your level up to see what happens with your stats. So I guess that it's emulating that. I still think that it's kind of a weird, so like, it's just a weird mechanic, and I get that it adds friction a little bit. It's a little bit player antagonistic, which I do appreciate. But from like a top level design perspective, it's a little bit odd. I'm not sure I would do something like that personally. Everything is a dungeon crawler, so we like most games. I mean, everything could be a dino or a hot dog if you try hard enough. And honestly, like there's been several scripts that I've had that is some version of that. And I even was thinking of, basically every game that I brought up in that video in the hot dog section, I have some either an outline or just a snippets of ideas written somewhere of like, is this a dungeon crawler? Like, Mega Man Legends was the big one, which Tricky in the chat just did a great review of Mega Man Legends. One of my favorite of Tricky's videos, so go check that out for sure. Yeah, and then like I was thinking like Symphony of the Night and like other Metroidvanias, because it's funny, a lot of people at PAX that we ran into were like, hey, what's your favorite game? And I would say Metroid Prime, which, probably folks who've watched the Metroid documentary know that. And they'd be like, really? Metroid Prime? And then they think about it for a while, and they go, yeah, okay, actually that makes a lot of sense. Because, hey, actually, is Metroid Prime a dungeon crawler? And I'd be like, I mean, kinda. Sorta. I can be funny and say it's my favorite Kingsfield game, because it's kind of there. You kind of find some of that, but I would never be like, hey, it's a dungeon crawler. If you it's just like, if you like some of the stuff that happens in Kingsfield, I could see you liking Metroid Prime. Max is at 1.84 million subs. You got this, buddy. Thanks, Botaniac. Thank you. Actually, I'm not going to talk about this too much. This is the only place we'll talk about it. But there have been conversations that may or may not involve talking to people who have 1.84 million subs about games that maybe me and other people like. Anyway. Metal Dungeon is it. That is it. I want to know more about it. I'm so deeply curious, because so much of that game, when I discovered it earlier this year that it exists, I think it was from Jordan Starkweather. They posted about it on Blue Sky or something, or Twitter or wherever. And I was like, what is this? This is exactly the game that I've been slowly but surely making. I mean, not exactly, but it's so much of the same thing. So whatever. No guns on stream. Sorry about this. Yes, sorry for showing the guns on stream. Aging was always a mechanic I didn't love in games, but that's because I hate aging IRL. I feel you, Tricky. I feel you. Thing is, though, is like, you got to remember, like, if you look at how the whole world is, you know, the whole history of the world, every year, like, you get is like, that's a privilege to some degree. Especially the older and older you get, it's a privilege to be around, because like the trap cards just start stacking up against us, and you navigate that and make it through okay. Take care of yourself. It's a good thing. It's a good thing. I feel, you know, it's always weird to talk about that, especially like when you're in your 30s. You start talking about stuff like this. Like when you're in your like teens and 20s, you're like, hell yeah, it's my birthday. Let's go out. Let's rage. And then in your 30s, you're like, yeah, getting older is a thing. Anyway, we don't have to talk about that. Watched your Wizardry video lately and got into the PS1 game. Nice. Which PS1 one? Was it the original, the Logaman saga, or was it the was it the Wizardry 7 fan translation, or was it Dimagwheel? Because that game, I really want to play that game. I wish there was an English translation for that game. That has some of the best sprite work in any Wizardry game. And I love the vibe of it, but I just haven't gotten that far into it. I know it has like partial English menus and whatnot, so I mean it's playable, but I just kind of want to know a little bit more of what's going on there. Now everything here is a hot dog. Everything could be a hot dog. Some people hate losing stats. Do I play like on MS-DOS and Amiga? So I'm not very... I played... For research, I played the Wizardry MS-DOS games, and but I've never played any Amiga games, and there's a lot of cool Amiga games that were blobbers. Both like Wizardry style or like Dungeon Master style, that maybe one day I'd like to check out. A lot of them get re-released on like itch or Steam and stuff, which is pretty cool. It's about Final Fantasy 11. You're not far off. You're not far off. Ironically, I bought it in the day I'm out of my Xbox. By the time it arrived, it died. Oh no! That's too bad. Blabler, knowing you is a privilege. Thank you, Blabler. Knowing you is a privilege as well. It's too bad you didn't make it out to PAX. I understand things happen, but maybe next year. And then Portland Retro, of course. I'll hopefully see you there. 100%, that's what Kyla says to me. Well, Kyla is probably one of the smartest people in the world. So, you know, Kyla's probably right. Oh no, I finished a video game. Hey buddy, happy birthday, bud. Can't stick around tonight, but I just want to pop in and say congrats on another year done. Thank you, my friend. It's always great to hear from you. I hope you're doing well too. Congrats on the BioShock. Can't wait to see what you're doing next. Thanks for stopping by. So, I mean, fire it up and play it again. Okay, so Scott, I've heard that you can't emulate it. Like the Xbox emulation just doesn't like the Metal Dungeon for some reason. I don't know what the deal is there. Seabear, Seabear, happy birthday. Love your videos. Been thinking of trying the Wizardry games. Have played a little Wizardry Daphne. It's been fun, but I think I'd enjoy the actual games more. Maybe. It's definitely possible. I really like Daphne. I think that there's a really good game hidden under all that gotcha cruft. It's just it's kind of unnecessary to have that stuff in the game, and it does kind of ruin the balance, especially towards the later ends of the game. But I do think that Daphne's battle system is really good. I think it's my favorite Wizardry battle system because it's per character action rather than like round based, where you like you know, if you've played old Final Fantasy games or Dragon Quest games or Etrian Odyssey, where you put in all of the actions for your characters, they happen and along with the enemy actions, then you go back to that. I kind of like the per character actions, kind of like Final Fantasy X, where you're manipulating the turn order. You could see it in the side of the screen. There's a little bit more tactical, little bit more of a tactical vibe to that, but it's also really fast. And having like, you can see your party members attack you as your character. Like you have a specific character of the party that is you. Like you walk up and you from first person will like slice a goblin or whatever. I like that about Daphne a lot. And the dungeons just look cool. Like, I like the design of that. But I mean, the fact that it's a mobile game, that there's a bunch of BS you have to deal with on Steam, and then you got all the gotcha stuff. I don't blame you for not wanting to stick with it, or if whatever. The other games, the Wizardry remake is right there. Absolutely great game. Still to this day, it's definitely old and it shows it, but it's a very approachable version of that game. Can't wait for the Wizardry retrospectives, buddy. It's already on the. Oh, are you talking about I finished the video game? Yeah, let's. Actually, yes. I told I finished video games. Like, you ever need recommendations? You got me and Madge. Madge will tell you all about Ultima, and I'll tell you all about Wizardry, and we'll both tell you all about Kingsfield and Shadow Tower. So there's that. Yeah, the one has 1, 2, and 3. I really liked Jun Suemi's art. Also, PS1 seemed to have the best option. I loved Etrian Odyssey. Enjoyed Labyrinth of Refrain years ago, so I have a great time with it. That's awesome to hear. I really like the PS1 games as well. I'm still partial to the Super Famicom version. I just really like the sprite work in that, which is not. I did a commentary, like if anyone's a Patreon, you don't have to sign up. It's okay. But if you are, there's a commentary for a few of the videos I've been doing lately, and I just did one for the Wizardry video, and I talk about how I really like the sprite work in that, and how it's part of why it's my favorite. But the PS1 game, a lot of purists don't like this aspect about it, but it changes some of the layouts of the dungeon floors. But to me, that's a really cool thing, because if you like the rule set and just the gameplay of Wizardry, and you play like the MS-DOS versions or the Apple II versions, or the Super Famicom or the NES version. There's so many different ones. You can kind of like play all these different versions. Some of them have different dungeon layouts, so you get like, it's like having a different module or map pack, or like a mod, like a fan mod or something. So there's all these different versions of it you can play and explore these different dungeons. I think that's really cool. Resident Eccentric, hello, happy birthday. Good to see you here. Good to see you here. Resident Eccentric, yet another YouTube pal. Good videos. Go check them out. CB Harris Wizardry 628 on Steam. A good starting point. Depends on like what you're willing to invest in. Because 6 through 8, that's a pretty different. Like 1 through 3. Excuse me. 1 through 3 are they're really heavy games, and they don't hold your hand. They're very unforgiving. They're very player. I wouldn't say necessarily just player antagonistic. There are some aspects of it, but like they just don't. They're player neutral, right? They don't really care if you win or lose. But they are like the mechanics of the games. Like if you played any RPG, you could play Wizardry 1 through 3 and understand what it's asking of you. 6, 7, 8, like those are really big games, especially 7 and 8. They're really big games. The battle systems are way more complicated, and it's asking a lot more. You have to learn and invest a lot more. Not saying that they're bad games. So if you're coming from like a background of really complex CRPGs, especially, then probably. I think Wizardry 6 is in many ways my favorite. It's tied with 1 as my favorite because it's a mega dungeon game where you're never in a town, right? You're always in the dungeon. You're looking for safe places and merchants who are hiding in corners. It has an entirely different vibe. Whereas like 1 through 5, it's the town loop. I'm going to the dungeon, fighting, using up my resources, getting stuff, going back to the town to heal up, sell stuff, level up, all that. And then you just do that loop ad nauseum. I love that. I love that loop. And then 7 and 8 are just big open world CRPGs with all of the Wizardry like dungeon crawling ethos. So hopefully that. Personally, I would say that the best place to start is Daphne, and then the Wizardry 1 remake. But if like you are open to a more complex experience, 6, 7, and 8 are worth trying out as well. All right. Amber Moon is the absolute Amiga blobber. It has indeed. Okay, that might be the one I'm thinking of. Maybe you posted it. Maybe someone posted it in the Discord, and that might have been how I discovered it. Do you have to play a GT? Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know if it would work on a 360. I know it doesn't. The emulation, like the PC emulation for Metal Dungeon, people say it just doesn't work. I haven't tried it. Maybe I should just give it a go and see what happens. But yeah, there will be more opportunities. I was wondering if you had fun there, considering. That's good to hear. It's good to hear, Blaber. Good to hear. What is it like to have a birthday on the best week ever? Do you mean Silksong release? Because, yeah, I mean, I'm very excited for that. I have not fired it up. I do love Hollow Knight. It's one of my favorite Metroidvanias. I have all the faith in the world that Silksong will be awesome. So, yeah, we'll see. That is very exciting. I really like what I played of Daphne, but damn, I just could not sit with long enough term. All that going back to pull bones, there were nameless characters. That's the thing, right? Is the gacha adds a lot of unnecessary pacing blunders, I think. If that stuff didn't exist and you could just go back and do like, it's like in Diablo, if you play Diablo or Monster Hunter or Phantasy Star Online, there's so many games that have that loop, right? But Daphne with having all this, all those stat pulls to get the loot and then get the characters, and you can't just go to the tavern and recruit people or go to the shop, go to the merchant and sell and buy stuff. You got this whole other extra layer with all these animations and all these these voice lines you have to deal. It's just that is the part of the game that I struggle with the most. So it doesn't surprise me to hear other people did too. Oh, hey, Matt Calder. Hey, happy birthday, Carl. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Just want to say, even your short, passionate bouts of talking during the stream shines. Not everyone has that, dude. I could listen to you talk for the same amount of talent from you. That means a lot. I really appreciate that. I've always leaned on the idea of doing scripting because I come from a writing background. I come from a theater background as well. So maybe that's some of this coming through. But, writing has been my job for a decade. So I've always leaned on that. I podcasted as well. If Tierney's still watching, Tierney and I did Grind Forever and P&B. But that was so long ago. And then I feel more confident in having the ability to read from a script. So anyway, you saying that you just enjoy hearing me speak about stuff just off the top of my head on the stream it feels really good. I mean, it does encourage me. I mean, because I'll be honest, as much as I love making really big projects, really big in-depth research videos, there's a part of me that wonders what if I just did some shorter stuff here and there. So that's what that most recent video was. And so yeah, I don't know, no promises or anything. I don't know what's going to happen in the future. I dropped that video, went to PAX, birthday today. So I haven't really decompressed from that and digested a lot of it to think about okay, what's next? Because I do have a lot of half-finished stuff, but that would take weeks or months. And I have other big ideas. There's, anyway, yeah, it's a conversation for another time. But long way of saying, I really appreciate you saying that. I'm definitely I'm going to take that with me, and it'll help me figure some stuff out. Wizardry 6 has the caterpillar from Alice in Wonderland. It does. It's got a lot of stuff like that, right? Wizardry 6 is it's such all those games are such a mishmash of ideas and influences. And when you play it, you're like, oh, they're just doing that, but in this weird, funny way, or this little nod to this sort of thing. Having Cuisinart be the name of a katana. It's funny. Yeah. Oh, cool. There's a Discord. There is a Discord. I don't really advertise it very much because it's I mean, I'll just be honest. I want people who are invested and very interested in the channel and interested in this stuff. So if they are looking at the links and they find it, they look it up. That's great. I just don't a lot bots and people who are just looking to hey, will you? I'm trying to get art commissions and stuff like that. I'm trying to avoid that sort of thing. So But absolutely, everyone, feel free to join. Come say hi. Come hang out. It's very, very welcoming, very chill place. Yeah. Happy birthday again, brother. Had to look. What up the days? Everything you wish for and more. Thank you, Treaky. Thank you. It means a lot that you showed up. It's good to see you, bud. And then Shredder's here. HPR Shredder. Happy birthday. 11K on my birthday. Yes. That was pretty cool. That was very cool, right? I think it happened at midnight tonight. It crossed over, and then I got a bunch of that 7 levels. I mean, I don't want to say it's popping off, but for me, it's doing pretty well, and so it's really good to see you, Shredder. I'm glad you're here. Let me see. I think I missed it. Okay, I tried to get into Wizard 67 games, but too retro for me. I really want to like them. Looking forward to trying again soon. If you another good one, I think I bring it up in the Wizardry retrospective thing, is that Wizardry Labyrinth of Lost Souls. It's on PS3. It was originally on PS3 and Vita, and now it's on Steam. That is a more, I mean, I guess I wouldn't say PS3 modernized, but it's more of it might be easier to get into. And then, of course, there's other games like Etrian Odyssey is basically Wizardry. Elman Age is basically Wizardry. So even if those older ones are a little too retro for you, you can absolutely just check those out, and you get the same thing. That's kind of the nice thing about Wizardry clones, is they're all doing Wizardry with slightly little different variations. Maybe some are easier, some have unique ideas or whatever. But if you're playing those, you're playing Wizardry, kind of, sort of. Wizardry has its own vibe and its own atmosphere, and it's definitely one of the more brutal of those games. But yeah, agree with Resident. Chilling with dungeon folks is just awesome. That's good to hear, Pocket Man. It's what I want this whole thing to be, right? Maybe it's 9.4% as articulate. My life would be 9.4% better. That's probably true, statistically speaking. But 9.4 is very specific. Is that because of my birthday being 9/4? If so, very good. Any cool plans today? Oh, he's always been good at this yapping chat. See? Got Tierney backing me up. Okay. That's good to know. Sometimes when I go on podcasts, I get really in my head about it, because especially if you're just doing it over Discord or something and you can't see the other people, I'll just go and I get really in my head about it. But any cool plans for the day? This. And then I think I got some family stopping by. So I'm not going to stream forever today. It's going to be kind of for maybe a couple more hours, an hour, maybe more. Probably should move on to the PAX stuff soon, actually. And then I'm just gonna kind of hang out, do stuff with my wife, hang out with my dog. So yeah. I feel that I've been working on this COD video since June. It'll be another month till it's done, right? I mean, I love doing big stuff. It's very rewarding, but it can be really difficult, especially when you work full time, like I do, and you talk about and write about games full time, like I do. Sometimes you don't have the motivation to do it. So, shorter stuff does sound very appealing, at least for right now. Maybe not forever, but I think the Airstream 68 is party customization like a Ninja Fairy. That's true. 6, I really like 6 because it has that weird that higher degree of party customization with totally different races that you can choose. There's Wookiee type people, there's fairies, there's lizard men, there's dog people, there's all this different stuff, and then there's the normal stuff. There's dwarves, halflings, elves, humans, yeah. And then but then 6 is in a dungeon, right? Whereas 7 and 8, they feel like they're trying to be open world games, which they are, but they're still dungeon crawlers. But happy birthday from Germany. Great work. I've discovered many interesting games like Lunacid thanks to this channel. That's awesome. That's great. Love Lunacid. Thanks for being here. So that poll to put something out is so strong. Well, you could do a mean comments video. Well, surprisingly, I don't get that many. I think the one that I get the most often is people just being people being, well, the one that I get the most often, I'll tell you what, is there's a section in the Metroid video where I let my friend kind of talk about his feelings on Metroid Other M. I don't necessarily agree with those feelings, but I thought it was interesting to have a more positive spin on some of that, and people did not like that. They did not like that. Which my friend Brandon Miracle, who's he's at Good Vibes Gaming. He just thinks it's very funny. So it would just be a bunch of people it would just be me reading that a bunch. And then like the random person saying stuff like you stupid Zoomers don't know what you're talking about, which is hilarious because I turned 35 today. I am not a Zoomer, so. But thanks. I guess I'll take that as a compliment. Glad you think I look like I'm in my mid to late 20s, I guess. Or however old Zoomers are. I guess they're early to mid 20s, right? I don't know. It's all made up. Doesn't matter. Those generational divides or whatever. Let's see. That 7 layers video was really good. Thank you, Matt. I had a lot of fun with that one, and it definitely it opened my mind up to some possibilities that I'd like to explore in the future. Howdy, Tucker sent me here about a week ago. Love your work and happy birthday. Thanks for being here. Tucker's great. Love Tucker. Got to hang out with him at PAX. Fun. One of the funniest dudes that I've gotten to meet through like the games industry stuff. I really like Tucker. He's really smart. Like he's smarter than he gives himself credit for. He's a good guy. The Labyrinth games are one of my recent favorites. They're absolutely insane with mechanics. Yeah, the Labyrinth, like Galleria and Refrain, huge mechanical like depth in those games. Which, it's NIS, right? So of course it's going to be like with Disgaea, and the dungeons, like turning your weapon upgrades into a dungeon in Disgaea. It's like that, and like you have like however many people on a party. It's like 12. You have 12 people active, or 12 or more, 16. I don't remember. And then being able to just like bust through walls and all this stuff. Really cool games. Very cool games. Oh shoot! We got a super chat from Shredder. Happy birthday! Happy 35, big dog. Thanks, buddy. I appreciate it. For me, it's 9.5 procrastination and fatigue. Look, some days you just gotta take off, and procrastination is normal. We all do it. Don't beat yourself up too hard. Try to work on things when you can, obviously, but we're all busy. Definitely take what I said and share it with you there. It is true. Your sheer amount of knowledge and passion is evident, and your recent vid was great. You can speak off the cuff as well as some people's scripts. I really appreciate that. I really appreciate that. Like, sincerely. It's really cool to hear. I appreciate that. GVG, yeah. Brandon Miracle, GVG. Daniel, also at GVG, was also in that. Got to see him at PAX as well. Spent a lot of time with Daniel, actually. Got to hang out a lot, which is good. Oh, it's your birthday. I thought the birthday of the channel. I hope you have a good day, Brandon. Thank you. Yeah, no, it's my birthday. The channel's birthday is, I think, in like June. I think it's June something. I'd have to go, or no, it's May. I'd have to check. I don't remember. To this day, I have no idea what is the best Disgaea. I don't either. I have only played like... I spent the most time with one because I had it on PSP and I played it a lot. There was a couple years there. I said it before. I was like couch hopping, living in people's basements for like a couple days and moving on and stuff. And I had a PSP, and I had, what did I have on there? I had like Crisis Core, Disgaea, a lot of stuff. But Disgaea was one I played a lot. Mate, I'm just going to sleep. I wanted to say happy birthday. Thank you for the content. It's a very difficult guy. Spent a lot of time alone lying down. Your vids are excellent company consider. Hey, that's really cool to hear. I appreciate you stopping by before bed. I hope you have a good sleep. Hope you have a good day tomorrow. Good to see you. I know we've seen each other in other chats and stuff too, so it's cool to see you here. Hi, if I recall correctly, it's up to 50. It's up to 50. No wonder I didn't remember. That's so many people. The Sky 4 is my personal fave. I think I've played. I don't think I played 2. I think I played 2. Or no, sorry, played 1, 3, and 4. I think are the ones that I played. I'd have to check. And 5. I played 5. I know I played 5. 5 coven with 5 puppets, 5 supports. Okay. An army platoon blobber. Yeah. Well, and it's like, it's funny because like you're fighting against like tiny little toy soldiers and stuff in some of those labyrinths, and like, I don't know. I love the art style of those games. Especially for like the enemy sprites and stuff. I think it's really cool. Happy birthday. Thank you. Good to see you. Funny enough, my first video was posted on your birthday. Really? Actually, I think I did know that because you're doing your anniversary stream on Saturday, I think. I've been replaying Dark Alliance and Champions of Norath for a video. Pretty sure I saw your footage of them in the Trojan Horse category of the 7 layers. Yeah. So that's funny because I just out of nowhere, Champions of Norath was one of the first games like I remember like really saving up money to buy. And I took in a copy of, what was it? Gran Turismo 2, I think, on PS2. I had a copy of that, and I thought at the time, naively, that I just bring in a game, and they're going to let me trade it 1-to-1 for a different one. I thought that's how trade-ins worked. Nope, they gave me like $5 for it, and I had to spend like a bunch of the money that I had saved up for. But yeah. But yeah, then I got Champions of Norath. I really like that game. I really like Champions of Norath a lot. Funnily, I'm sitting in my dorm playing Disgaea right now on my Switch. I love that. I love that. Which Disgaea are you playing? Brendan, you rudely ignored my super chat because it looks like your rapper using your chat doesn't show them. Which is weird because it should. Like, I might even be able to make it do it now. Here. It's supposed to do that. It's supposed to do the little Phantasy Star Online level up sound with the Meseta from Phantasy Star Online. So I don't know why I didn't do that. But I did say it. I'm pretty sure I said it out loud. Either way, thanks Shredder. I appreciate it. Sunday, have plans Saturday. Editing profusely currently, but obviously I'm taking a break here because this is important. Streamlands really annoying. Hey, it's always annoying. All this stuff is annoying. But yeah, all right. I'm gonna drink some water, and then maybe we'll talk about a couple of the games I played at PAX. Okay. It's like perfect timing at the end of this song. Okay, so I'm going to transition real quick. So one of the games I played at PAX West it was like the first appointment I had of the day on Friday, was a game, some of you may have seen it at Gamescom announced, called Valor Mortis. It is a first-person Souls-like, it's a Souls-like first-person shooter set in like Napoleonic times. So we'll watch some footage here that they sent over. I'll just kind of talk about it. If anyone has questions, feel free to ask. And if you have questions about other stuff or want to talk about the channel or whatever, that's cool too. So I probably will talk about this one and really one other game because I don't want to go over too much. But yeah. Just playing the first Disgaea for the first time. I discovered that because Labyrinth Refrain covered dust, which I bought on a whim because of Wizardry. That's like the opposite. And see, for me, it was like I found Refrain because of Disgaea. That's funny. I'm afraid I've got to go. Enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy that 35th birthday from there. Thanks, Hydra. Thanks, Hydra. It's good to see you. I'm sure I'll see you around in the Discord and such. But have a good rest of your day. Okay, so I haven't watched all of this footage, but it's basically exactly what I played at PAX. It's not my gameplay footage; it's B-roll they sent over. So, yeah. Anyway, let's get started. So, let me know if you can't hear if the sound is good on the gameplay, if it's too loud, if it's too quiet. But so yeah, you start off in the demo in this like, this like open area filled with a bunch of dead Napoleonic French soldiers, French imperial soldiers. Um, and I was really impressed by kind of how Dark Souls it immediately feels with some of like the way that the corpses are everywhere and kind of like the like it's very gross, very grim. But they do a lot of the cinematic stuff, like you just saw with this sword, kind of like guarding against these crows coming out. This is another moment where you fall down, and this is kind of like, how it tutorializes you from here on out. That is your Estus flask equivalent. You see, it's starting to, everything's going to start to look very, very Dark Souls soon enough. The combat is interesting. So you saw that block there, right? So there's like a perfect guard. You can guard the whole time, but if you perfect guard, it opens up for a riposte. There's also a dodge mechanic, which is tied to the same button as guard, which is left trigger or left bumper. And that's something that I had a hard time getting used to. I went into this with like Dark Souls controller mapping in my brain. And so like there was a couple times where like I was trying to do Dark Souls stuff, but it just didn't work. Also, yes, this game is surprisingly gory. You cut people in half, their intestines will fly out and blood goes everywhere. So, fair warning on that. Yeah, there's like stealth attacks, and you get these little like text vignettes, and also you might see a couple of them. There's kind of like I'm trying to think of what the first thing that comes to mind is something like System Shock, or even I guess in Doom, the new Doom games, they do that like projecting a person into the real world. That's like this ghostly image and you're like seeing what happened in the past. Animations look nice, a little floaty. Did it feel punchy? Also, do love cheese. So it was a bit floaty. It was definitely. It doesn't have. It also maybe I can't tell if it was just because of they were running it on a pretty like low end laptop, and on the show floor sometimes interference with Bluetooth and whatnot. The input latency, I could definitely tell there's an input latency, and it took me a little while to get used to it. Once it clicked though, I was doing just fine. But the first 5 minutes or so, especially like unlearning the controller mapping in my mind for Dark Souls was a bit hard. The other thing is, I don't know if you can notice it here. The FOV is real tight. And when you've got more than one enemy in front of you, I think it's a bit hard to keep track of, especially when, the enemies in this game are very lethal, like especially at first. 3 hits and you're definitely, if you're not dead, you're down to a sliver of health, and they hit fast because it's rapiers and guns and stuff. So I found that like the lack of like a really tight in FOV was hard to keep track of a lot of the more enemy heavy encounters. They're not too many, at least not in the demo. So part of me feels like they are aware of that, but and Witchfire. Okay, it's cranking my brain gears. This looks pretty cool. Definitely keep it. You should. I mean, I think I will say like there are some things that I'm a little bit like questionable on, but it's stuff that I think they can fix. Like right here in the demo, they didn't have it, but like they're tutorializing you on how to do like that perfect parry. The window for that feels pretty generous, and then you get this gun. Now it's not historically accurate. I was talking to the narrative director, and he made it very clear, like this game is not obviously historically accurate, right? They didn't have stuff like this. You had to like, they had the long rifles that you had to prime with the plunger and the, black powder and all that stuff. This is a special, he shoots Napoleon. This uses a special, okay, I'm gonna cut myself off here. This is one of those like ghostly, like story moments. I don't know if you guys can hear it very well, but that you get kind of some background and whatnot. And also, so you see this, you got the gun, right? And then you can shoot down this tree. The other thing this game is, aside from being a Souls-like, is it's a Metroidvania game. And I mean like a Metroidvania, not in like how Dark Souls has, you know, you need a key to unlock this or do something in the world, like pull a lever to open stuff up. This is like you get a new power, you can now access more of the map. And you'll see that briefly coming up in a second. But like, so all the enemies are infected, like they're these undead creatures that have this weird, I don't remember the name of the fluid. It's like nephitim fluid or something like that. That makes them, some of them have like these big orange growths on their heads or shoulders and stuff, that if you shoot them, they do like really high critical damage. And so you see this like weird lattice structure here. This is kind of what I'm saying, is like it telegraphs to you like, hey, there's something here, but you don't have the power to go through it yet. And there's they even said like what we showed in the demo and how it like opens up is very small compared to what you will be doing in the full game. And then guess what? It has bonfires. Surprise. So a thing to note is that this is not an RPG. This is very much an action game with skill trees in the vein of something like BioShock. So you're not leveling up, but you are collecting currencies and things, like tokens or sigils that will change your character's behavior or stats, open you up to new attack build opportunities and that sort of thing. So a lot of extras I like, yeah. Something I like from the new Jedi games, getting these force powers and unlocking areas in loot. Yeah, I think the Jedi, yeah. I didn't play the most recent one, Jedi Survivor, but I did play Fallen Order. And it's very similar to that in some of its level design. Obviously from a first-person perspective. And I asked, the first thing I asked them, I said, I see a first-person game pulling from Dark Souls. The first thing I think is Kingsfield. And he laughed and he said, well, we are aware of Kingsfield in the studio, but we are pulling from Dark Souls. This isn't a Kingsfield game. So I would not call this a Field-like or Kingsfield-like necessarily. Not saying you wouldn't like it if you like those games and then play this, but this is like, honestly, it feels more like a Sekiro or a Bloodborne than it does Dark Souls. Love how games are trying to move away from the obvious times in history. Right? I can't think of many games outside of like turn-based strategies or like PC strategy games that are even touch Napoleonic times. There probably are some that I'm just not remembering, but... Okay, so now you got this fire spell, right? Again, kind of BioShocky, right? And so that... They have hidden the UI for this preview that was there when I was playing the game. But
this is a nightmare.
your ability to shoot fire is dependent on how much basically mana you have. So I did not find this boss in my demo. I'm not sure why, because I did go through this area. So I don't know if I just didn't go the right way, because there was a few branching paths. I got the fire, and you remember that lattice structure? I don't know if they'll actually go back and show it. Got a little bit of time left on it. So yeah, fell to the boss. You respawn at the bonfire. Dark Souls, right? But I got that fire spell, and in my head I was like, okay, I'm gonna go back to that weird, like spider web structure that I found earlier, and burned it down. And there was a chest behind there, and they were saying that that's what you can expect. And instead of it just being not just chests, you'll unlock new areas, new pathways. You'll have to double back, and all of a sudden you'll have new shortcuts unlocked. So that's pretty cool. I did like the promise of the exploration. Who knows how good it will actually feel in the full game. And also, just so I don't think I said it at the beginning, this is made by the folks who make the Ghost Runner games, those cyberpunk speed run, wall running, first person games. This is them. So have to go. Have a nice B-Day. Good to see you, Cold Ember. Thank you for stopping by. Hope you have a good day. right, it is a big departure. And I asked how that was, and he said that, honestly, they've been working on it since before Ghost Runner 2 was really in heavy production too. So they've been working on this for a while, and they've been fine-tuning it. It's a big departure, but they are definitely like, they're definitely working on this as if it's something completely separate from Ghost Runner. Even though combat boss fight looks a little janky, frankly, my games are jank. Means it has more soul. Boss fights look kind of fun. Yes, and this is like a not really like that's funny. I did not know they were gonna do that. The boss fights, you will see another boss fight probably. If it's the same as in the demo I played, there is another boss fight. And honestly, the boss fights are where I found the most amount of trouble unlearning my Dark Souls memory with the buttons and whatnot. I do think that the dodge, having the block, perfect parry, and dodge all be the same button, but they're slightly different directional inputs, was a little bit messy and did make for some. Like, I was trying to do one thing, I was trying to block, but oh, we got a new sub, AR Mongoose. Thank you. That was the part, like, I wasn't sure about some of that, but okay. So here, he's gonna burn the weird bone spiderweb thing, and so this area is cool. It has a few possible paths to go through. It's very foggy. It was here that it really felt like, okay, they do have some more openy areas. It's not huge, and I'm hoping that in the full game we get more of that sort of thing. But Wayne, birthday! Hi, Wayne. Good to see you. Thanks for coming by. Hello, big fan of the channel. I'm trying to decide if this game is epic or cringe. Is it coming to Switch 2? This will definitely affect my opinion of it. They have only announced for PS5, Xbox, and PC, and I played PC. Yeah, I played PC with an Xbox controller, which also added to my confusion a little bit because I'm more used to PlayStation and Switch stuff. So like it would say like press X to do something, and then I accidentally press Y on the Xbox controller, so which is on me. They're cool enemy designs. See like this dude who's like mutated and his head became like a dog. Well, at least it's on Xbox, right? Right. When X is different button for every controller, right? Yes, literally, it could be 3 possible locations. So this area, there's another area that's similar to it. I'm actually going to skip ahead a little bit because I want to see if they do. So they have a moment here. I think they'll. Sorry, I want to see if they'll do it. I think it's here. Where? No, it's not here. Okay, there is an NPC in the demo. I'm trying to remember where it happens. Where you talk to him and he's like, it's just a Dark Souls NPC. Where he's like, hey, I say this weird cryptic thing and laugh at you, then walk away. This game looks sick. I'm just saying, with the cigar, if it leverages the power of the Switch 2. Right? I know. That the super powerful, the most powerful thing. So this is the boss fight. This is why I kind of want to skip ahead.
Anyone? Is anyone?
If you played Elden Ring, tell me if you think this looks a little familiar.
What the bloody hell is that?
That kind of looked like, maybe look a little bit like Godric the Grafted, a little bit. Anyway, so he's got these extra arms with that, you know, so the red there, that's like an unblockable attack you have to dodge, that sort of thing. Happy day of birthday, my dude. Thank you, Varg. Huzzah. I mean, there's some similarities, but I don't think it tarnishes the game. See what you did there. Got to get in time. Oh yeah, I'm glad you're here too. We got a little bit more time left for sure. We'll be around a bit. So this guy was weird because I was playing it like, at first I was approaching it like a Bloodborne boss, and I shouldn't have. I needed to approach it more like a Sekiro boss, where I was parrying and blocking and then waiting for my opening. I also found that, rightly so, those orange spots where you shoot to do critical damage were a bit tough to nail. But once you get the moveset down, like it's that sort of thing. It definitely feels more like Sekiro in the boss fights. The other thing is, like, because it's in first person, I did get a vibe that it's going to take a little bit of time to figure out how what enemy reach feels like when you're not 100% sure where you exist in relation to them in that way. It's easier to know in a third-person game, I feel like. But graphed it 100%, like a hybrid of him and more of that. Yeah, Steam started decision. Yeah. I don't remember the state of this guy in Chicago. Right. Yeah, me either. Maybe you know, Napoleon had them all taken down and whatnot. So surprisingly, there are multiple phases of this dude, and I think right there he's picking up like currency to do, you know, that you use to level up and whatnot. So like there are multiple phases, and I've never played a first-person game in combat like this. Yeah, I mean, I think the closest, frankly, is Lunacid. In that, like a lot of Lunacid's bosses, as much as it's taken from Kingsfield, it does do some Dark Souls or even Elden Ring style bosses, especially like the final boss. And that's what this reminds me of, but it's still very, very different. Switching the Horseman, maybe with, like the boss in Sekiro. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if there was some sort of like Horseman boss, because, you know, Imperial times or whatnot. What about this from your channel? Oh, nice, very cool. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I struggled with this boss a bit, and it's primarily because it just, like, you have to think about this so different from the Souls game, and everything about this game is it's trying to, like, it evokes that so much. And of course, I played it, it was like a 30-minute demo on a show floor, it was like loud and hard to hear. It's not the best place to demo a game. So it did take me some time to, like, figure that out. And I think that, at least in general, I could see that being the case for a lot of people. And an Elden Ring movie by Alex Garland. Right? Yeah. Yeah. I don't know what that will look like. I don't even, like, the Sekiro anime, I mean, I hope it's good. But the Elden Ring movie is just like, what? I don't even know, like, how much budget would you need to make a game, or make a movie look like the game? Who knows? So yeah, we're nearing the end of this guy here. Hopefully it'll end with the boss being taken down. I was like just about to end the boss, and I literally had like 1 second left. So I don't know what happens after you beat the boss. It'll be new for all of us. There you go, Abomination eradicated. And then you get some currency. You'll go spend that on stuff, and then I'm assuming this is a little teaser of like other bosses, yeah, or enemies. So yeah, I'm curious because, like, I don't know what sort of environments will come after this. You know, they talked a lot about wanting it to be. They're gonna tell the story. They're gonna tell the story like they do in Dark Souls, right? They're gonna do we're gonna have these item descriptions. They're gonna have weird NPCs that laugh, and you have to talk to 3 or 4 different times. But since it is like set during like a period in history that with like a defined era or defined like set of events that you can go and read about. They are kind of, they're pulling from real world stuff, and I just don't know what the crossover will be there, but I think it's promising. I liked it. I do think that there are some things to work out. They say that they're targeting 2026, so there's still a lot of time left. But yeah, so that was the first one. Let me get the other one pulled up. Yeah, plenty of time to polish for sure. Okay, so then the other game that I want to tell you all about is called, let me get the music off again, actually. It's called Secret of Weepstone. You may have seen it shown off. There's no footage. I don't have any footage yet. I'm going to potentially get the chance to record footage of the demo that I played again in the near future. I should say that I know personally, and we say I'm friends with the writer and co-dev of the game. So disclosure on that. But this is totally, my own opinions on the game. And this was like the game that I wanted to go see at PAX. I was excited the most to go see at PAX. So we'll watch the trailer real quick. Then I'll tell you a little bit about it, what it was like. If you have any questions, feel free to fire them off. And then we'll just, go back to chatting for a bit. And yeah. So here's the trailer real quick. Let me know if you can hear it.
People of Weepstone, your lord has fallen ill.
Good?
In his half-waking state, he mumbles incoherently of Weepstone Keep.
And yeah, so it's...
Are there any among you willing to delve into that forsaken place to find the source of Byron's torment?
You there? Who are you that dares enter
This was the final boss of the demo.
place?
You saw like all the major combat encounters of the demo right there. So that's pretty much all the sorry about that. That's all the like main footage that's out there for the game now, is just that trailer. So it's sorry. If you played the demo at PAX, you saw a lot of that stuff in person. So basically, the conceit is that it gives me OSR vibes. Absolutely. So I was talking to Hunter, the writer, and that's exactly what they're trying to do. They're making an OSR AD&D homage, right? That's what the art is. That's where a lot of the gameplay mechanics come from. And so the two games that I think are the best touchstones for this. I mean, obviously, we could say that if you like wizardry, that's there. Maybe even like Eye of the Beholder a little bit in some of the ways that the dungeon design is. But the two games that I think people will have that are the most accurate, Baldur's Gate 3 is an obvious one because there is an ever-present narrator talking about things. It's written. Actually, there might have been some voiceover. I can't remember specifically. There was, actually. So like you walk into a room and it will explain what the room is. You can see it clearly, right? How there was one encounter where like there's all these beds that were like turned into a little fort. You walk in, it kind of like points you to that, talks about it. And then you can walk around, right? You can walk around and look at stuff. And then you walk up to it, some goblins come out, and you fight the goblins. And then combat is done with... It's a pretty standard turn-based game, very D&D inspired, but it's that wizardry style where it's first person, you're looking at the enemies, they're in the room with you. And attacks are just... You're rolling dice, and you see the dice on the screen. I think you can kind of see that at one point. It's whatever, but you can see the dice roll on the screen, kind of like Baldur's Gate. But the game in the combat specifically that really reminds me of is if anyone played Crimson Shroud on the 3DS, which is made by Matsuno, who also made Tactics, Final Fantasy Tactics, and Vagrant Story and all that stuff. He made an RPG very heavily pulling from like tabletop games, and like the presentation is your characters are all minis, and when you do actions or combat, please do not confuse it. Confuse it with Crimson Dragon. Crimson Shroud, very different game. So like on the 3DS on Crimson Shroud, you had like the stylus, and you would like move the dice to roll them. You don't get to do that here. It's more like Baldur's Gate where it just happens. But there's that it's going for the tabletop to evoke that tabletop thing. When you look at your map, you're wandering around, you pull up the module book and you open it, and there's a grid in the front of the module book. It looks like the old school AD&D modules, and it fills in with like pencil as you're walking around. And in between, so Hunter the writer was talking about how they were going back and forth on whether they wanted this to be a super dungeon, a mega dungeon game, or if they wanted it to be like Wizardry, where you go back to town and like interact with townsfolk, upgrade gear, do that sort of thing. And what they did is they split the difference between both. So when you're in the modules like themselves, each dungeon is its own game book module. And so you're exploring, you're doing all that stuff. And then at the end of a book, at the end of a dungeon, you go back to town. So I don't believe you're able to go back to town in between when you're exploring the dungeon. At least I couldn't do it in the demo. They didn't have any town stuff. And so that's where some of that in-between stuff, some of that like more like NPC role-playing will come into play there. I'm very curious to see how that will play out. But in the dungeon, it's very much, it's a mix of D&D and wizardry and all that stuff. The combat encounters are not as frequent as I would have expected. I think I did like 5, maybe 6 total. And the combat's fast. So it's very deadly, right? So your characters we're talking like classic Dungeons and Dragons. We're talking like we're talking like anywhere from like 3 to 6 or 7 hit points. And monsters are the same way. And if you've got an axe that hits for 1d6, right? And an enemy's got 3 hit points, chances are you're going to kill it in one hit. So you're taking out enemies really fast, but if they hit you, they can do a lot of damage to you. And you start the demo out with 6 characters, and they're pre-made. You select them from like a group of villagers, and like it opens up with like, hey, the baron of the town or king or whatever is like he's having visions and kind of slowly going mad, and you need to go into Weepstone and figure out what's going on. And so they have like a bunch of villagers that you select from. It's I had each one, you just start out as a villager at first, and you have some like a light weapon, and sometimes you might have like a special spell or something, but no one has a class. That's something you unlock later. And that might like open up combat a little bit, but like in combat, you're just attacking, rolling the dice. And if you have an extra item you can use, like a spell scroll or something like that, you're doing that. And that might sound like a little shallow, but I think with the presentation with the dice and how fast it moves and how deadly it is, like you're really on edge with every attack matters. I think that feels real good. And then in between those combat encounters, like I said, there's only like a handful in that dungeon that I did so far. I think each dungeon has multiple sections and multiple floors. And so like combat doesn't happen very often, but when it does, it's very deadly. And then between that, you're solving puzzles. And they're very D&D style puzzles. Like you find a key mold, and you find a furnace later on, and then you use that to create a key by smelting down some ore and doing that sort of thing. There's an area where you find a bunch of latrines, and some of them have something in them, and others you can't tell what's in them. And you get like a lot of context clues, and you can use, some of your characters will have higher perception, right? And they'll be able to tell like, oh, there's a gold ring down there, which I found a gold ring, and it adds like a little bit of extra health to your character. And then another latrine, they might be like, we can't tell what's down here. Maybe it's an exit. Who knows? But you can like throw a rock down. And if you listen, you can tell that if you go down there, that's a long drop. But if you go in, the character that goes in will die. So it's that sort of puzzle solving. And everything that you're encountering is very like, it's still testing you as a player. You're paying attention to the context clues in the writing, like what the DM would be telling you, and then judging using resources around you that are outside of your stats and outside of your inventory, like grabbing a rock off the ground and throwing it in. But then there's other stuff like, you might be able to solve a puzzle, but the last thing is you have to move like a statue, but none of your characters might have enough strength. So that would block you out of that, and you have to find a different pathway forward. And so there's a lot of, it feels like a tabletop game in that way. You don't feel like you're doing like point and click adventure type of puzzles, and you don't feel like you're doing like simple block pushing puzzles or something like in a Zelda or some Final Fantasy games. You are really like, you're playing an RPG with your characters, and you'll find other characters in the dungeon. So I started with 6 characters, ended with having 7. And, each one had their own specific weapon, their own specific stats that affected their ability or their efficacy with the weapon. And that's, I don't know. It was the game I was most excited to play. It was the game I had the most fun playing. It's the game I'm thinking about a lot. Again, I know one of the guys working on it, so full disclosure there. Take all this with a grain of salt, because I'm clearly a little bit biased. But it really is something I'm very excited for, and it doesn't feel like just another. It doesn't feel like just another Wizardry game or just another Eye of the Beholder game. Not that I have anything against that. I love those games, clearly, but this is really cool, and I'm very excited for it. Sorry, I missed a few of the hubs. Some of my favorite things. Nice to see respite, but still, the game sounds dope. Sounds like it feels good. Presentation, yeah, this presentation was great, and just having the dice there and being able to explore in real time. Because one of my biggest things, I love Crimson Shroud, but one of my biggest things is I like to actively explore a dungeon or a place. You don't really do that in Crimson Shroud. You're going from point to point to point, which has its own encounter, its own, story beat, combat. This is like, I'm exploring. I'm finding things in the corners. There's doors. You walk up to a door and you can listen to what's behind it. And it feels like, even though it's a turn-based game, it feels more like it has the tension in something of like a real-time game. I was just really impressed with it. If nothing else, I feel like I learned a lot of lessons on how to like present D&D, an old school D&D, in a way that isn't just Baldur's Gate, that old school dungeon crawling, and that isn't just Wizardry. So I'm sure other games have done stuff like this that I may not be aware of, but for me, it was just, it just hit a lot of stuff right. Do enjoy puzzles in Dungeon Crawlers, no Superior Mix, but I like them a lot in Bard's Tale 4. Yeah, I don't think nothing in this was as Bard's Tale 4 style, but it could be. I think there's, I saw, like, there's some mechanics there, just some things that you can do in the dungeon, and I could see that being a thing. Yeah, the aesthetic's great. The only part of it that I was, like, slightly disappointed by was that all the characters in the game are pre-made, but I got over that pretty quickly because they all seem to have like backgrounds and stuff that, like, it's clear that they're like, I don't want to spoil too much, but like, if you find a character in the dungeon and you bring him back to town, I was told that there will be interactions and you'll learn more about it. And based off of the writing that was in there so far, it's got like that wry, kind of sarcastic. It's Dungeons and Dragons, but not like 5th edition. It's advanced Dungeons. It's 2nd edition. It's old school. So there's that. Jason Graves, happy birthday, Brendan. Hey, dude. How you doing, man? Good to see you. All I've ever been his birthdays for Capcom to Resident deep down. Dude. That's all I want to. That's all I want to. Although, since you brought up Capcom, I did not play the games that were at Capcom, but I heard very good things about Resident Evil 9, Onimusha, and Pragmata, which were all there. And everyone, to a T, said that Pragmata was the best, which blew me away. And I'm very excited to play that. I've watched some footage of it. It looks really cool. Personally, I'm most excited for Onimusha. I see some Onimusha hype. I'm very, very excited for Onimusha. I think it's awesome that it's Musashi. I think it's awesome that they are basing his likenesses off of Toshiro Mifune. Like, that is cool. But yeah, yes, Prag was best. People are loving it. It is apparently like the game. So it's like it's a third-person shooter, but it has a whole puzzle game element. So you have to do. Let me try to explain this. Maybe I could find. I don't know. Basically, you got the third-person shooting element where you're just taking down these robots, but in order to do damage to them, you have to hack them at the same time. There's a hacking minigame, like in the corner of the screen right here, and it's like got different face buttons that like you direct a thing through, and so you're doing that as you're keeping aim and shooting at them. And apparently people are like, it's brilliant. It works so well. It's not that overwhelming. It feels really good. It looks really good. I did not expect to hear that. And everyone who saw Onimusha, who was an Onimusha fan, said like, this is it. We're back. This is Onimusha. They are making an Onimusha game that's going to come out in 2026, hopefully. And then Resident Evil. Basically, if you liked Resident Evil 7 and 8, and even the remakes, it sounds like they're just doing more of that. So, yeah, that was good. I also, so Capcom was there, Square Enix was there, and I didn't play any of Square Enix's games either. I had the chance to, I decided not to, just for some other reasons. But I did go to this like community event, and since I don't know how to say it without sounding like I'm like a humble brag, but I was one of the VIPs. And so in the VIP room, we were hanging out, talked to some of the devs and whatever. And after the show, my favorite thing that happened this whole weekend. So after the community event, I was outside. I was waiting for my buddy Zion because we were going to go to a different party hosted by Larian. And Yoshi P was standing outside, and he was out there with Minagawa, the art director for he was the art director and UI designer for like Vagrant Story, Final Fantasy Tactics, a bunch of other stuff. Not the character artist Akihiko Yoshida, but the guy above him who was kind of like directing those things. So they were outside. They were all smoking cigarettes, just talking. And Yoshi P sees something like down the street, and he just got up and left. He just books it. He's got something he's gonna go do. And I don't know if anyone's ever been to Seattle. I don't know if we have some of these here in Portland, but those it's like those ride share scooters, right? where you have an app, you unlock it, and you can ride them around the street. So Yoshi P walks up to one of these scooters, and the guy was like so stoked about it, and he was like methodically like looking at the whole thing, it was like he was like, you know, checking out like a car, like a nice car or like a nice motorcycle or something. But it's just these little scooters. But he was so stoked, and there was just like this like effusive enthusiasm, very infectious about the way he did that. It was like it just stuck with me. I thought it was really funny. And yeah, I mean, and there's otherwise it was just like, you know, seeing friends, hanging out. I got to meet for the second time. I met Ben Starr, and I told him, I was like, hey, I made those Final Fantasy 16 PS1 screenshots that he actually DM'd me back in the day when I made them, and he was like, can you make me one with Come to Me If Free? So he remembered that. That was cool. But yeah, those were kind of like the big highlights. There was some other cool stuff. There's some other cool stuff that I saw like around. Like the tabletop area was the area that I actually liked the best. There's a cool game called Dungeon Sprint, which is like, it's a dungeon crawler, go figure, but it's a linear dungeon crawler, and each room has its own encounter, but it's competitive. You're competing with your other players, so it's really. I only watched a demonstration of it. I didn't play it actually, but it looks really cool. Won't be able to stay for the stream. I've recently discovered the channel and I enjoy it so much. Thank you, Turt. I'm glad you stuck around or stopped in. No worries. If you can't stick around, just glad to have you here. Say hello. Star Gang, yes, Red Star is really nice. I mean, we didn't really talk very much. This was at the Larian party, and he was already at the Square Enix thing, so he was like totally wiped out. But Lynn Kurosawa, this is hilarious. Just hoping to find an excuse to find right the Alien versus Predator. I would have to just assume that is not shown up in any like collections or anything because of the rights, right? Because there's so many. I think at the time it was obviously Alien and Predator were at Fox, and I'm sure that there was something with that character being, I forget the name, Lynn Kurosawa, that was who it is. And I think she's an original Capcom creation, so I wonder if there's just a bunch of weird stuff. I'm mad at myself for missing him at the Game Awards. I mean, look, he seems to be going to all these events. I mean, between, you know, first it was Final Fantasy 16, and then Baldur's Gate, and then now it's Expedition 33. And I swear, I saw more people dressed in like Expedition 33 cosplay than I ever thought I would. My friend Austin, she went to like the Expedition 33 panel, and she took a photo of like everyone is just in those black and white striped shirts with the red beret and the glasses. It was hilarious. Everyone. There was even a dog, like a service dog, that was in that outfit and was carrying around a stuffed baguette. It was good. Expedition 33, I haven't played it. I mean, I played a little bit of it. I don't know if it's for me, but people love that game. Actually, so funnily enough, two funny stories. Two more other funny stories. I wouldn't say it's the biggest letdown of 2025. Maybe the biggest letdown is that I don't like it as well. That could be. I probably should just play more of it, but I don't know. It's fine. I don't think it's bad. There's a lot of cool ideas in there. I just don't think it's like. I don't think it's the industry savior resurrecting JRPG. I don't think that's what this game is. There are better JRPGs that have come out in the last couple of years, personally speaking. Mine is still Wilds. Oh, I mean, Wilds is definitely my biggest letdown of 2025, but we can, yeah. Silk Song is definitely out today. If you can buy it and download it. Before I started to stream, I was just like, everyone seemed like they couldn't get it. I'll definitely be playing that tonight. Also been in RPG. Yeah. Well, I mean, I feel the same. I've also, liked JRPGs since, when did I play? I've 11 or 12 years old, maybe 13. I don't remember. I'm playing Final Fantasy 11 music, right? Like, I like them. I like those games. But yeah, it's just fine. It's fine. Like, I like it. I don't think it's bad. I didn't feel compelled to beat it. And like, I think maybe I liked Metaphor better. And even that one was one that I was like, yeah, it's good. But I don't know. You know me, I want games to be hard and weird and stuck in a dungeon and you constantly dying and kicking you while it's down. I'm not really looking for like what Expedition 33 is even doing in the first place. So that is another thing to keep in mind. So song install as you launch it, which soon as this is coming soon. That'd be hilarious. Okay, so there's two funny stories. First one. It's the first time this ever happened to me. I'm just telling it here because it was kind of funny. Actually, both of these never happened to me before, but the first one was I was at that Dread XP booth. I saw another game that was there. I saw a few games that were there, it was like Pig's Head or whatever. It's like a first-person horror climbing game. And then Entropy, which is made by the Dread Delusion team. They're making a turn-based JRPG style RPG set in like a dying world. It looks really cool. The game, the demo was early, very early, and they were very clear like this is early, but so I think there's a lot of promise there. That's why I didn't really talk about it too much because I was like, I didn't want to get too into it, but it looks cool. And if you like Dread Delusion, or you like like Kudelka, everyone kept saying like it's like Kudelka or Shadow Hearts, and I definitely think that that's there. So anyway, when I was looking at these games and Weepstone and whatnot, someone came up to me and we were talking about Weepstone, and because he had just seen me play the demo, and then as I was talking, he like looked at me and he got this weird look in his face. He goes, "Are you the guy who does that dungeon crawler stuff?" And I was like, "Yeah, that's me." Cool. He's the first person in like real life that has ever been like, "Oh, I've seen your videos before." So that was cool. And then later, so does anyone know Metal Gear Maddie? She works at Grasshopper now. I think she's community manager at Grasshopper. She does all those like little like cartoons, the little like webtoon webcomics of like Metal Gear stuff. Well, anyway, if you know her, I was introduced to her because like we have some mutual friends. Okay, so Evie knows her. So we were introduced. I was talking again to my friend Jordan, who knows a lot of other people too, and we were just standing around, and Maddie walks up, and Jordan introduces us, and I was kind of like, I've never met her before, but we followed each other. She remembered. She was like, "Oh yeah, we follow each other on Twitter and social media and whatnot." I don't have Twitter anymore, but before that, and then she was talking, and I went, "Holy shit, we knew each other from high school." And not only do I know Maddie from high school, Maddie and I were like friends in high school. Like we were in the same friend group. We had Japanese together and biology class together. We did projects together. Like our group of friends went and saw movies together. Like Doom. We all saw the Doom movie together back then. It blew my mind. She had no idea that it was me, and like I had no idea it was her until I saw her. Like we had followed each other for years, and like neither of us had even like talked that much since high school. Like, but it's what happens. You go off and do your separate things. I even graduated from an entirely different high school in a different town, so like there's all these things removed. But yeah, no, not Dune, Doom, starring Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson and Carl Urban. But yeah, small world, right? It was wild. And I didn't recognize her because like in high school, she had really short hair. She always dyed it pink, and now she has really long blonde hair. It wasn't until she started speaking, like my brain like teleported back because she sounds very similarly to how she did in high school. And I was like, oh my God. So yeah, that was really funny. And she even posted about it. She was like, ran into Brendan, and he remembered me from high school of all things. So, yeah, that was really funny. And then later that night, we were at a media party event, and some guy came up to us and was like, "Hey, what do you guys do? Where are you from?" We were talking. I said where I was from. He said, he's like, "Oh, I'm from Vancouver, which is just like Vancouver, Washington, which is just across the river from Portland. Like they're basically Portland, Vancouver is basically like the same area." And he was like, "What do you guys do?" I said, "I'm an editor at GameSpot. I have a YouTube channel about dungeon crawlers." And then I asked him what he did. He's like, "Well, I do a podcast, but my day job is." We said what his day job was, and I was like, "Do you know this person? Because I know someone who also works there." And of course he did. He knew that. So it's just like that happened like moments later, not moments, but like a few hours later in the day. Just one of those weird things. It's a very small world, very small industry, and it's just very funny. But yeah, with the Maddie thing too, what was really kind of nice about it was like she always was drawing and was always talking about wanting to do stuff like that in high school. And so it was cool to be like, "Hey, you made it, you did it." And then, me, I always wanted to like write about games and do that, or like make games too. And like, so it was like, "Hey, we did it." And that was pretty cool. But yeah, that was those were like the big PAX highlights. There's plenty of other stuff, It's always a really good time. It's totally a whirlwind, but yeah. That's awesome. It's always cool to see people stay true to their passion and succeed. Choose your path. Thank you. Yeah, and I agree. Like it's rare, and I feel very lucky and very privileged that like I'm able to do this type of stuff and have have so many friends and have 31 people on my birthday hanging out in their live stream. I really appreciate it. Thanks, Wayne. So yeah, I guess let's see. The next big event for me. Don't get sappy, dude. I swear if you make me cry, I'll get angry. Okay, I won't get sappy. But thanks for being here. I know what you're going to be here. Thanks, Wayne. I appreciate it. I mean, you know me. I lurk in yours all the time, too. So it's good to see you. You caught COVID? Murph, you caught COVID? So you are the fourth person I know who caught COVID. I didn't get sick at all. The only thing that happened is like I lost my voice the day I came home, but that's just because like I was talking and doing karaoke and screaming all night, like for every night, and I only got like 3 hours of sleep each night. So of course I lost my voice. But you got COVID, huh? That sucks. How old got Brendan? What? How old am I? Today I turned 35. New crawl content is always great. The stream has been great background for my work this afternoon. I appreciate that you're here and watching and enjoying it. Crawl tent. Yes. Good crawl tent. Murph, and there might be a couple other folks in the chat who were at PAX. Curious what everyone else saw and enjoyed. But I mean, as for me, I think the next event, I was almost going to go to Rose City Comic Con this weekend, but that would have been too much. I think I'll go to. Also, you might be hearing some. I don't know. Hopefully, my mic's not picking up. There might be some vacuuming happening in the background. So, almost went to Oro City, but I'm definitely going to go to Portland Retro Gaming Expo in October. And then I didn't do very many events. I had historically have mostly just done like PAX West and Portland Retro. And I think this next year I want to do a few more. I would like to go to East. I'd like to go to maybe even the Game Awards. Just kind of, see more folks, be at more places. Because they were a lot of fun. And I really, it's kind of a bummer when you go that long without seeing a lot of your friends. And also just meet people and do stuff and see games. And I like that. Fine, I'll cry. Nice thing about like, I took the whole week off, right? So I get like all this time to recover because, like I said, I got like 3 to 4 hours of sleep each night, which was, that was brutal. And like I just didn't eat enough food. So honestly, the fact that I didn't get sick is kind of surprising. Statistical anomaly. I guess I was taking zinc all the time, so maybe my immune system was up, but who knows. PAX highlights Bubsy, Weepstone, and Love Eternal. So I know some folks who really like Bubsy as well, which is surprising given it's Bubsy. But Love Eternal, I don't think I saw Love Eternal. I don't remember which one that was. And then of course Weepstone, like, yeah. Robert, gotta take off. Thanks for the fun stream. Happy birthday. Keep up the great work. Hope to see you soon. Thanks, buddy. Have a good day at work or whatever it is you're doing. It's good to see you. Good to hear from you. Yeah, I'm sure I'll message you. We'll do stuff. We'll talk to the rest of the dudes. We'll do stuff. Is anyone playing Hollow Knight yet or Silksong? That's it feels weird to like that it's here. And like it's something that like I loved Hollow Knight. And I'm excited to play Silksong. But I don't know like how much it's not that I'm not excited. It's just like, yeah, it's here. Okay, it's time. So I'm very curious to see how other people feel about it. But yeah, here's my humble gift for you. Glad you had a great PAX, and thank you for being my friend for almost 3 years. Happy freaking birthday to you. Thank you, Blade Blur. Thank you so much. Jim Francisco. It's very weird that I went from vaporware to released in the space of like a month, right? And they didn't even have pre-orders. They didn't let anyone pre-order or preload it. So then today's just been a total shit show trying to get people to be able to download it. Still need to beat Hollow Knight. I mean, Hollow Knight's big. It is a surprisingly big game for such an indie Metroidvania made by whatever, it was like 2 to 3 people. And it sounds like Silksong is even bigger. So I don't know, man. Take your time. Something for me at Potent Retro Gaming. Okay. I look forward to finding out what that is. And you still need to play Hollow Knight. I mean, look. Let's be honest. You're also doing your own thing too. Like you're playing different games. You're going back and doing like historical stuff for videos and streams and whatnot. So it's fine. It is okay that you haven't played Hollow Knight yet. Silksong may be the sign to get it. I think around the same time as Blasphemous came out, and that was my Metroidvania of choice. Loved it. Yeah. So I can't remember if they were specifically around the same time, but they definitely they may have hit Switch like within a year or so of each other. And I didn't play Blasphemous until Blasphemous 2. I don't know if Murph is still around. Our mutual friend, sorry if you can hear a vacuum in the background. Our mutual friend, Brogan, got me to play Blasphemous 2. And, one second. Okay. So, anyway, so I played Blasphemous 2 first. I really liked it. I know it's more of a Metroidvania, like a classic Metroidvania in its structure and ability gating and stuff. And then when I went back to Blasphemous 1, I was really shocked at just like it's more like Zelda 2 or Simon's Quest in the way that it's structured, sort of. And I really appreciated that as someone who likes those games, at least in concept. Certainly more for Castlevania 2. I think Castlevania 2 it's a good game. It's not a great game. It's fine. But Zelda 2 I think is an excellent game. So it was cool to have like that. And Infernax was the same way, right? Infernax is like it's a mix of those two things. But Blasphemous was, I think it's still one of the most unique Metroidvanias. And it's just how it lays out the world and the way you navigate it. I like that game a lot. It's so funny to me when Hollow Knight was the last game I played in this dorm. Now I returned back after a long time and Silksong releases. Oh, so wow. So you played it in school and then you went back and you're doing it again. That's wild. That's like a real full circle moment. It's kind of crazy. Last was one I think is probably top 50 games where you really loved it. Oh, Kaput Mortem was also good at PAX. Spooked me so hard. I made a noise and the dev laughed. There you go. Baptists love the body horror and religious horror. Yes, I mean, some of those, not even just like the enemy or sprite designs, but just some of like the NPCs, like the character in Blasphemous 2, where the cherubs are slowly, we'll say, peeling her. It's good though. Like it's like, how do you come up with that? It's brilliant, and it's presented in a way that isn't like gross. It's just very affecting. It's and memorable, clearly. Did I play any of the Nintendo games there? No, I did not. So I didn't get an appointment, and so all of my friends who like do stuff with Nintendo, they had appointments and those appointments were like 4+ hours long or something like that. Maybe it's 3 hours, 3 hours long. So I didn't do that. And I didn't want to wait in line because it was like a 6-hour line to play Kirby Air Riders, and like, not really for me. It was super cozy. Gotta go sleep. Good night, everyone. Good night, Evie. Good to talk to you. Good to see you. Thanks for coming by. Please stop. Hey, please stop talking. Hello. Thank you for the happy birthday wishes. Good night, Evie. It's because Kirby sucks. Kirby's just a blind spot. It's like, it's not something I played growing up. It's not something I have a lot of interest in as an adult. You would have waited for Prime 4 though. I don't know. If I had gotten an invite to play Prime 4, I would have taken it. But waiting 6 hours to play Prime 4, I don't know. Because I know I'm going to play that game otherwise. So I think if it was something that I was curious about, but didn't know if I was going to play, maybe I would have done it. The thing is like 6 hours in line is 6 hours you can spend playing an indie game. Just like walk up to an indie game. Or walk up to, something like talking to a developer or doing something like that. So, I mean, maybe. But probably not. But who knows? I mean, he literally sucks. Okay, yes, that's true. I think the longest wait, I was playing Final Fantasy VII Remake at E3 2019, 2 hours. I mean, yeah, that's the thing is like I feel like a lot of the games that I'd be waiting in line for, I would have been playing. Like I would not have waited in line for Pragmata, and it sounds like I should have, because it sounds like everyone loves that game. So, Kirby's Scrooge blind spot for me as well. Playing the updated Switch 2 version of the platform has been fun, contrasting it with Donkey Kong. Interesting. Yeah, because I know that it's very different design philosophies in a lot of ways. And I really like Donkey Kong. So that's good to know. I'm delirious from work. Or would Kirby Mystery Dungeon kind of rock? I mean, it makes sense, right? You could suck up the enemies and turn into them, even just briefly. You might be onto something. That's kind of a cool idea. I like that idea. Any interest in Unbreedable? I'm not sure if they were at PAX. I don't know if I know that one. Is it like a game like Kirby, or is it a game like Silksong, or I'm not familiar with that one. Kirby Mystery Dungeon would be an instant buy. Instant buy from Tuna Head. We've got one person at least. Yeah, I don't know. I think I think I would definitely be interested in it. That's for sure. Unbeatable has a pop-up hotel, but was not part of the show floor. Does that mean you'd buy a Sonic Mystery Dungeon? I mean, look, I really like Mystery Dungeon games, so if it was cool, I would think about it, They were giving... Unbeatable. Action rhythm game. Oh. So no, I didn't play that, but my buddy Xeon did, and I think who else did? There were some folks that really liked that. That really liked that one. There were a few people that, a few parties we would chat about what you saw, and that came up pretty frequently as like one of the highlights for people. Yeah. Sounds like Hi-Fi Rush. Yeah, I don't know. Is it like Hi-Fi Rush, or is it more like a side scroller or something? Also, I'm not ending yet or anything, but we will be winding down soon. I do have some family stopping by in a little bit, so you know, but still stick around for a little while longer. Very, very appreciative that you all took some time out to hang out and chill here on a Thursday in the middle of the day. But yeah, so I mean, I think overall this was a good PAX. I was hoping. So everyone that I knew who had those appointments with Nintendo, I was like, you tell me if they just sneak in Metroid Prime 4 in there. And they didn't. They really didn't. They did not bring it, so that was too bad. Which is weird because they had it at Gamescom like 2 weeks ago, but they didn't have it here. I have a lot of, full disclosure, I don't know anything, but I have a lot of theories as to why that we haven't seen more of that game. I know some other people have been out there saying stuff, and I think some of it might be true, but I don't know for certain. But yeah, it's weird. To be honest, I just recommend trying out the free demo on Steam. Okay, there you go. A little hard to put into words. I will check that out. I mean, that's the thing, is like a lot of games at PAX have either Steam demos out now or coming out soon. So on some level, it's like, okay, maybe in a little bit, maybe another time I'll check this stuff out. Tyranny. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I don't know for certain. I have some theories. I think like some of the appearance of some of the merch that has in the last few days, and like some of the delays of like the art book and whatnot. I think there's something there, and I mean, I don't know. Everyone's saying that we might be getting a direct soon or something. Who knows? I really don't know. Yeah, Gamescom did have it, and people did play it. Apparently, it was just the same demo though that was at the launch events, so it's nothing new. But yeah, made it. Hello, happy birthday! Hi, Ash and Bubs. Hello, very happy to see you. How was your stream? How'd it go? How's Silksong? Maybe one dedicated to just like air riders. Yeah, I mean, maybe. I think it's. I don't know. I get the vibe that like. I don't think they think that's going to sell more than Silksong is going to outsell Metroid Prime 4. Like, I think it just is. But it's so good, chills. I love it. I mean, I everything that I saw this morning when I was watching it looked really nice. I love that all the singing NPCs so far have been really just very charming. Yeah, I'm really excited to play it later today. While you were streaming, I was talking about all the games I saw at PAX West, and one of them was a first-person Souls-like the one that they showed at Gamescom, Valor Mortis, and it's pretty good. Some weird stuff, but like there's a boss. You know what? Maybe I'll just show you. We'll just go back to the footage, and I'll show you. Let me see if I can pull that footage up again. There's a boss at the end who, like, tell me who this reminds you of. I don't know if you can hear the footage very well, but
Anyone? Is anyone?
yeah. So it was fun. It was good. It as I was telling the chat earlier, undoing your muscle memory from those games is a little bit, from like Dark Souls and Elden Ring and stuff, is a little bit difficult. And this game is like, it does those mechanics, but puts them on different buttons and does them in slightly different ways. So it took some getting used to. Plus, in first person, you can't see as well, and the FOV is really tight in. So, is it Kingsfieldsy? So, I was saying this earlier. That was the first question I asked the narrative director. I was like, I see Dark Souls or Souls-like first person. I think Kingsfield, and they said no. Now, interestingly enough, they are making it a Metroidvania, so there is some Kingsfieldy inspiration there, sort of, but it is a Metroidvania. Like, you're using abilities to get to new places. It's not like Kingsfield where you're unlocking them and whatnot. And the pacing and the vibe, it's not really that Kingsfieldy. But I think there's some, like, if you like Lunacid and stuff, I think you would like it. But reminds you of yourself in high school. This guy. Oh, gotcha. Yeah, it's. So I think, I mean, yeah, and as I was saying, like, a lot of like the mechanics are interesting, but I think it's going to take some time to like really get what it's going for, because it was hard to, like, in the 20-30 minutes I played it on the show floor and just talking to the team, it was like, I get what you're going for, but I don't know it yet. And there's so much stuff, like there's a lot of promise of cool exploration, there's a promise of maybe some cool build stuff, but anyway, we'll just go back to this one now. But yeah, I heard you talking about Kirby Dungeon stuff, and I would say that I have not enjoyed a Kirby game as much as Kirby and the Amazing Mirror, that had such a map and Metroidvania mechanics. Definitely recommend checking it out. Be a nice foundation for something more experimental. I never heard of it. I really don't know very much about Kirby. Kirby is very much outside of my realm. Man, it feels good to switch places for once. Yeah, right? Yeah. It's it feels very natural. It just feels like we're chatting like normal. It's the most different of the games on the saga. If you have NSO, we can play it together. The Kirby game? Which one is it on? Which one is it on? Which console on the NSO? GBA. Okay. That in slow mode. You mean Kirby Air Riders? Yeah, I didn't check that out. I didn't even watch the direct. I know some people were. That was a whole discourse about the direct. Which, you know, whatever. I mean, people are fine to have their opinions on stuff, but it's just like, I'm not gonna watch a 45-minute trailer for a thing I'm not particularly interested in. Although I respect the audacity of Sakurai just making a GameCube game in 2025. Like, go for it, dude. There's discourse. Yeah, I don't want to get into it. It wasn't anything serious. It was people thinking too hard about a game they didn't need to think so hard about. It's a Kirby game, like, aimed at kids. It's fine. People say it's like Mario Kart. Well, it is, right? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I think a lot of the thoughts about that game and about Sakurai and stuff like that, like, I get it, I understand, I might even agree, but to the degree with the passion, which was I saw it being argued, it was just kind of like, all right, guys, let's chill out. But yeah. Well, so as I said earlier, I do have some family coming soon. So I'll probably be wrapping up here in a couple minutes. But really, really appreciate everyone who came out, hung out in chat, said hi. It's weird how we barely had any kart racers in years, and in 1 year you get Mario Kart, Sonic Cross Worlds, and Kirby. And am I wrong, or was there another, like, an update for that Nintendo one? Maybe I'm wrong, but glad I managed to get it. I'm glad you did too. I'm glad you did too. We finally, you know, we gotta see what it's like on the other side. There you go. Let's get you a Twitch for a co-stream. Well, so I already have a Twitch. I was thinking about doing it this time, but I kind of put this together last minute last night and a little bit this morning. So I didn't like do all the Twitch side stuff yet. And plus, I don't know how often I'll be doing a stream like this. I think it might be kind of like a special occasion thing. But I don't know, maybe we could do it more often. As I was saying earlier, like, Resident Eccentric was saying it a lot. Like, I was that 7 levels of Dungeon Crawlers video really kind of opened my mind to a lot of possibilities of other stuff I could do that would be faster. So who knows? Maybe streaming is part of that. I know people sometimes don't want that, and YouTube is kind of weird about streaming sometimes. But if folks really like it, yeah, maybe I'll do it more. Have a great rest of your day. Been an enjoyable stream. Love hearing your take on talking stuff, chatting with some. Yeah, thanks. I really enjoyed having you here. It was a lot of fun to chat. Happy birthday. Enjoy your day. Good luck with your stuff. YouTube, Dev Journey. Glad. Happy birthday. Yep. Thanks, everyone. I really appreciate it. I'm going to go. Got some family coming by here. And then, I don't know. Probably going to like hang out, get pizza, and play Silk Song, and just have a chill day. Enjoy the day off. I hope you all have a good day too. And yeah, I'll do this again soon. You know what? I'll say that. We'll do this again soon somehow. Whether maybe in a few weeks or a month or two or something, but I'll figure it out. I'll figure out an excuse to come on here again and chat. Sounds good. Godspeed. Happy birthday. All right. Cool. Thanks, everyone. We'll talk to you soon. See you on the channel. See you in the Discord. Be sure if you want to come and hang out in there. And yeah. All right. Bye-bye.